Bagang bagang. I don't come again, oh. Yes, we're back again. Make I tell you something, eh? If you blink for this Bbnaija house, you feel miss the old gist. Because, from eviction drama to relationship wahala, and then secret conversations and housemates where they expose themselves. This week no be here, I swear. Just relax because we're bringing you the hottest stories, the biggest moments, and everything will happen inside the Big Brother house. No long talk, just straight to the point gist. You're watching KC Production where we bring the story to you, one gist at a time. Wait, you never subscribe and you want make I give you this gist. You know go walk oh yeah, subscribe, subscribe. Subscribe, please subscribe to KC Production. Drop your thoughts in the comment section, share your view, and let's have it. What happened week 3? Yes, on the show yourself, Bbnaija season 11. Make we enter there. Wetin happen today? Let's talk about Kamsi's eviction. Our journey has officially come to an end after spending 3 weeks in the show yourself house. She became the third housemate that was evicted this season after Martins and Mercedes. She received 2.41% of the viewers' votes, the lowest of the announced results. But honestly, I feel like our eviction did not just happen in isolation because this our final week was heavily colored by a complicated situation with Gerard. You guys remember now? The two of them had they had developed a sort of romantic connection, but things became increasingly uncomfortable. Gerard began to feel like he was competing with Chimsong for Kamsi's attention. Remember Chimsong? Chimsong was the most influential from last week, and eventually Gerard just decided that he was no longer interested in pursuing the whole relationship thing, and then he left Kamsi pretty emotional. The housemates, of course, they had plenty things to talk about, and because this is Biggie's house, naturally everybody had an opinion. But what really made it, it was a massive shock as she was evicted because she used to claim that she's the pepper and salt, and all of that. And then we all thought that she was doing something right, and but then it was painful but funny. Now let me explain the funny part. Everybody saw Kamsi cry, yeah, we saw her cry, but and it was supposed to be because of the whole breakup thing because Gerard broke her heart, like she was served breakfast, and then she felt like she was stabbed in the back and all. She even rocked the party like the night before she evicted. But guess what she said to Ibuka? That she cried because she was cold. She cried in a place of prayer. A sauna. You chop breakfast now. Why you they cry? Why you can't they? I beg, I beg, I beg, I beg, I beg. Anyway, that one by the side. That was the other part too, where Ibuka also exposed, goddess and Shiba, goddess rather and Shiba. You know, I feel like Ibuka just thought that, it was enough. Like the whole thing was becoming boring and dry, and then let me just bust. Let me bust these housemates. Let me just bust their mind. They think we don't know what's been going on and all of that. So Ibuka, you know, it's not like he wanted to spoil their gameplay anyway, but there has been a lot of toxicity and gossip, and then one thing about Godessa and Shiba is that they had always bragged about being able to say whatever to anybody's face, but they had said a lot about Neche. Of course, Neche was head of house, and then they tried to frustrate her in the wager. They will not do what she wants them to do, and and all of that. So Ibuka just asked them, Ibuka asked Godessa, like, what do you think of Neche? She said she thinks she's nice. Then Ibuka was like, are you sure? And then because it seemed like she had been talking she had been telling Shiba something else. Almost Shiba just look at like this, and then they all acted dumb. They acted, oblivious. They acted like they had not been talking about her, but it was a lie. Those guys, they had, because the two had they had been saying, chatting about house dynamics and other housemates, and Godessa's comments about Neches, that was what became particularly interesting when Ibuka brought the matter up during the live show. But you see, that part was very awkward because Godessa's description of Neche on stage appeared to be different from what she had said privately, to Shiba rather, which left Ibuka, enough ammunition to ask all those questions. But suddenly, the two ladies who thought it was just a private conversation were being asked They were asked to account for their words, and it even gets more interesting because Nechi had already told Ebuka that she had noticed weird energy. Of course, that would be like from Nomi, Godessa, Shiba, and some of the other housemates during her reign as as head of house. Although she didn't name anybody basically, but so basically what was said in the corner didn't stay in the corner. Yeah, Big Brother's camera saw it. Ibuka remembered it, and Nechi was just sitting there watching the whole thing unfold. I mean, this BB house, this Bbnaija 11, there is no private conversation in this house. Trust me. So just before we go, you guys remember that Chimsom was most influential last week, of course, well deserved and all of that. And of course, he had immunity. So his immunity would end or ended on Sunday. And now there's another new guy, which is the most influential player, of course. That's like who was voted for the most. And he's none other than Saltex. He has officially been, being crowned that award, most influential player in that crown. Yeah, like I said, Chimsom took the title last week, and now Saltex has now been named most influential player of the week. And then any self eviction as well as the bet power elite reward. Yes, what they call that thing again? Like a wheel of rewards, something like that from one of the brands. I think it's bet power. Yeah, so you spin, and then whatever number you pick an envelope and all of that. Chimsom spawn, and the reward wheel. He got himself a laptop. Then Sutex had her own turn, walked away with a tablet. This is a big one anyway for Sutex because it's not just about the bragging rights. It kind of gives them another layer of protection in the house where nominations and evictions are becoming increasingly serious. Yeah, so Sutex is safe, influential and getting rewarded. Biggie said, know your worth. Oh, let me just leave it here for now because there are so many OGs and I want you to come back to this channel. So I'm just going to save it and keep them for later. This is KCA Productions. You know how we do it now. Stories, documentary, gist, entertainment. Anything where you define, just come here. Alright? This is us reporting for you from the week 3 of the Bbnaija season 11. Show yourself. Okay now, for now. Bagang, bagang, bagang. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe to KCA Production.